Hello everyone. In today's discussion, we will cover chapter 9.3, which is fermentation. Well, let's see the learning objectives. The first objective is to explain how organisms get energy in the absence of oxygen. The next one is identify the pathways the body uses to release energy during exercise. Well, students, you can find this lesson on your textbook pages 262 to 265. Okay, let's see what fermentation is. So in our discussion, we will try to answer how do organisms generate energy when oxygen is not available. So in the absence of oxygen, fermentation releases energy from food molecules by producing ATP. Now, let's start the discussion by defining the term fermentation. So fermentation is a process by which energy can be released from food molecules in the absence of oxygen. So fermentation is a process by which energy can be released from food molecules in the absence of oxygen. Fermentation occurs in the cytoplasm of cells. So the process of fermentation occurs in the cytoplasm. Now let's see the detail. So under anaerobic conditions, fermentation follows glycolysis. So during fermentations, cells convert NADH produced by glycolysis back into the electron carrier NAD+, which allows glycolysis to continue producing ATP. So as we have mentioned, the process of fermentation occurs in the cytoplasm, and during fermentation, cells convert NADH. Okay, they convert NADH back into electron carrier NAD+. So now let's see what alcoholic fermentation is. So yeast and few other microorganisms use alcoholic fermentation that produces ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. So this process is used to produce alcoholic beverages and causes bread dough to rise. So in alcoholic fermentation, yeast and a few other microorganisms use the process to produce ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. And as we have mentioned, this process can be used to produce alcoholic beverages and causes bread dough to rise. So let's see the chemical equation. So pyruvic acid reacts with NADH to produce alcohol, carbon dioxide, and NAD+. This is the chemical equation. Now let's see lactic acid fermentation. Most organisms, including humans, carry out fermentation using a chemical reaction that converts pyruvic acid to lactic acid. So here is the chemical equation. So pyruvic acid reacts with NADH to produce lactic acid plus NAD+. So this is the lactic acid fermentation chemical equation. So most organisms, including us, carry out fermentation using a chemical reaction that converts the pyruvic acid into lactic acid. Now let's see energy and exercise. Now let's see the relationship between energy and exercise. So how does the body produce ATP during different stages of exercise? So for short, quick burst of energy, the body uses ATP already in the muscles as well as ATP made by lactic acid fermentation. So for exercise longer than about 90 seconds, cellular respiration is the only way to continue generating a supply of ATP. So if the exercise is short, quick burst of energy, the body uses ATP already in the muscles as well as ATP made by lactic acid fermentation. But when we do longer exercise that are longer than 90 seconds, the cellular respiration is the only way to continue generating a supply of ATP. Let's see quick energy now. Cells normally contain small amounts of ATP produced during cellular respiration, enough for a few seconds of intense activity. So due to this reason, lactic acid fermentation can supply enough ATP to last about 90 seconds. However, extra oxygen is required to get rid of the lactic acid produced. Following intense exercise, a person will huff and puff for several minutes in order to pay back the built up oxygen debt and clear the lactic acid from the body. Okay, now let's see the long-term energy. So for intense exercise lasting longer than 90 seconds, cellular respiration is required to continue production of ATP. So if the exercise is lasting longer than 90 seconds, cellular respiration is required to continue production of ATP. So cellular respiration releases energy more slowly than fermentation does. So cellular respiration releases energy more slowly than fermentation does. The body stores energy in the form of the carbohydrate glycogen. These glycogen stores are enough to last for 15 to 20 minutes of activity. After that, the body begins to break down other stored molecules, including fats, for energy. Well, for example, hibernating animals such as brown bear rely on stored fat for energy when they sleep through the winter. So for long-term use, hibernating animals such as the brown bear rely on stored fat for energy when they sleep through the winter. So students, this is all about chapter 9 lesson 3. For more information, you can watch the videos by following the links that are represented on your weekly plan, and also you can read your textbook pages 262 to 265.